I think like the biggest one of the biggest tests, because one of the biggest like tests like I had to overcome and like really like change my mindset and like deal with some real obstacles and some real opposition was one of the one of the first real fights I ever got in. Essentially, like it was a complicated situation. Gav and I, when we were in high school, would go to martial arts a couple times a week, but junior and senior year. And we had a car, we had jobs, so our parents started giving us like freedom to do, whatever we wanted, because we were kind of like young men, So like forget like having to be home for like family dinners and help do the dishes and stuff. So we started like this habit or hobby of like going to martial arts.
I thought you were going to combine those words and come up with hobbit.
We started this hobbit where we would go to martial arts class. And then we would go to my friend's house, my friend David's house, and have like a LAN party where we'd play like video games. But we'd be in all of our fucking gear, and we'd just like have a couple drinks and like. So now, next thing you know, you're sparring. His mom would buy us like alcohol, so that we'd go to martial arts, and we'd come back, we're already in the gear, and we'd like spar each other in the backyard. And,
we'd kind of show off our moves to our friends. Yeah, like none of our friends did karate, so they're all like, and they see Garrett and I on our like karate, gis and stuff, right? And they're kind of like interested.
Sure, yeah.
So
that's cool. That's how martial arts spread.
Yeah, our friends are just as big as us, or more, or big. All of our friends are bigger than us.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, I sparred Nick Kruk, and Nick Kruk was 200 pounds, and
so he was
and I was 125 pounds at the time.
Yeah, he was fat though, not like
gotcha.
But I mean, he was also. He's just
way
built thicker, but yeah, I mean, a lot of it was fat. But yeah, fighting that dude, I'm like, okay.
I think if Nick Kruk was in shape, if he was in shape, he'd probably be like 170,
maybe 180.
If he was in shape, he's not that tall. But anyways, he was big. But we'd fight all of our friends, but all of them were bigger than us. Gad and I were skinny. But anyway, so we just like would do this every once in a while, and it was like kind of a thing. And no one ever got hurt. It was always cordial and fun,
I almost knocked Nick out, though.
Yeah, he wobbled Nick.
I felt like a dick after that. I fucking...
Right. Like, Nick's just curious. Like,
Nick's just like, I'll spar with you. I mean, but he is like 80 pounds bigger than me. So, yeah. Anyway, I threw like it's in a karate move. It'd be like
he hurt you pretty good. He kicked you in the inner thigh. Got you good.
Oh, yeah. I had a dead leg for like a day after that. But I basically landed a right hook.
You landed like a 1-2 combo.
I landed like I did like a back fist. I did like a boom, boom. Like I would never throw that in a million years nowadays. But it was like a back fist and then a right hook. But it was basically like the back fist just kind of got his hands out of the way. And then the right hook just landed on him.
Coming.
That's dope.
It landed clutch. And basically, cool. A dude who's 80 pounds bigger than me was like... He was wobbled, and I remember like after I landed it, I was like, "Oh,
was
shit.
that me?
I was
Did
like,
I do that?
No, I was like, "Oh shit, we're supposed to be sparring like 50% power," and then I realized like, "Oh, that was like 150% power," and like that's kind of fucked up. You know what I mean? It's you're not supposed to do that when you're sparring. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Same guy like at one point grabbed Gavin and like picked him up over his shoulder and could throw him down the ground.
Right. But way stronger, way bigger. Yeah.
But anyway,
that's why wrestling always wins. But yeah, go ahead.
Exactly. Yeah, it's such a crucial martial art. But anyways, so we would just do this every once in a while, and then so we're like doing that typical routine, and then one day, we're in our normal groove. We go over after martial art class. We're like sparring. But what is it? David has a younger sister. She's only 1 year younger. And she's like pretty damn cute,
very cute.
She was hot,
She's
especially in our circle. Like we were kind of with a bunch of nerds, in high school. So she was way hot. And even though she's only 1 year younger than us, she was dating a guy who was in our grade, and she was like having sex. Like most of us, if not all of us, were like virgins. And she was sleeping with like this guy that we kind of knew because we've been going to the same school for a while.
Right.
But this guy, he was probably 20 pounds heavier than me, not fat, like just all muscle and bone,
Yeah.
And what is it? The problem is that she had broken up with him this guy Steven.
Okay.
She broke up with him, and then there was like a 3-month gap where they weren't dating. And Gavin and I were always at her house.
Yeah. So
and
you and her?
No, Gavin and her started having like a fling where they'd like make out, and we're in high school, so it's like, here's my boobs, look at them. You know what I mean?
Right,
Stupid shit like that.
Yeah, gotcha.
And so like they had like a little fling, but then she and Steven got back together. Gavin's like, whatever.
High school?
Yeah. Moving on. Okay. Not a big deal. Mm-hmm. But of course she goes off and like does this power play. Like, how can I manipulate this guy's emotions? Steven, by the way, like I had this little fling with Gavin.
Yeah.
And so she like tells Steven like all the shit she did with Gavin for no reason, as if like it's like a testing of their relationship. But it's like she doesn't care at all about like the
outcome's
the conflict is going to be for Steven and Gavin. And then so we're doing this normal thing where we spar each other in the backyard. Gavin sparred somebody, and I'm just like, and then Steven's like, I'll jump in, I'll spar. And Steven, we're twins. Steven can't tell the difference between the two of us.
Oh no!
So sure enough, Steven thinks he's sparring Gavin. We found this out later.
Oh,
and so
no.
He like fucking, he doesn't like me at all. He's hiding it pretty cool. He kept it really like pretty respectful in the moment, but deep down I guess he just didn't fucking like me. And I'm like, okay,
cuz he thought you or me.
Yeah, and I'm like, okay, so I'm about to fight this guy I don't really know. I didn't think there was any animosity.
Yeah, you didn't know that this guy's coming in. He's coming in,
he's coming in angry.
He not only angry, but he's also looking to look good in front of his girl.
Yeah, whether he's got a
statement to make.
Yeah, whether
he's got to make a statement.
Whether he had a beef or not, he wants to fucking win in front of his girl. But I'm sitting there, I'm like, okay, well, I do this all the time. I gotta be Mr. Like this. I gotta be Mr. Calm. Like I'm not fucking worried. So I'm just like, all right, here you go. Like. We try not to aim to the face, aim for the foam, keep it light contact, I'm like saying this shit. I'm just like, all right, let's go. But so what is it? Like we'd normally fight in like the later afternoon. Mm-hmm. We wouldn't always fight at nighttime. What is it? Now we're fighting with just at nighttime with one porch or patio light.
Yeah.
And once I realized like we start going at it, I'm like, geez, I can't see shit. Like we're going so fast, I can't see anything. Like I got one light from one angle at nighttime. I can't see anything. Anyways, and then I throw like a couple punches, and they like lightly touch him on the face, and he's just like, what the hell? You say you like don't go to the face, then you throw some stuff in the face, and I'm thinking like, dude, I didn't throw like hard punches to the face. They were like kind of like feints, like I could hit you in the face. We're sparring, I mean, we're like, like I could hit you in the face right there. You gotta keep your distance a little bit.
Sure.
But then things escalate really quickly, and I start throwing some kicks, but I'm not throwing them as hard as possible.
Just touching. It's like, hey, this is good distance to throw this kick. Let me just go ahead and get a good rep in.
So I'm throwing in some kicks, and he's acting like, so his strategy was he doesn't know how to throw kicks. He prided himself as like, I'm a fucking street fighter. I've been in plenty of street fights. I don't do this karate bullshit. And so like I throw a kick, and he'd just fucking take it and then land like a good like counter punch to me. Mm-hmm. And I'm like off balance because I'm thinking like, dude, you're supposed to like try to avoid the kick because I could throw it harder. You know what I mean? But then, so eventually I start throwing my kicks a little bit harder, and he's still just like eating them and landing like good counters. And at one point, he had me backed up against the fence of the backyard, and he landed something on my jaw. My knees fucking buckle. I didn't see coming because it's fucking dark and shit. I'm just like, fuck, I just got rocked. Like, this is my first time. I've never really been rocked in a sparring lesson, before. And I'm like, fuck, and things are escalating hard. And so I'm like, okay, I'm fucking losing. My kicks aren't working. He's fighting like nobody else I've ever fought. He's bigger than me. He's longer than me. He cracked me on the jaw. And eventually I'm just like, all right, I'm just going to stick to hands. And I switched stances. And then I saw him go to throw like a power punch. And I just was, with all my might, countered with like a hard left cross. And I just caught him coming in perfect, like probably the hardest punch I've ever landed on anybody, right on the throat as he stepped into it. And then it was like, I just felt to go, like just right through whatever I was punching.
Solid, just
Yeah.
it was so
Bad.
solid, like in the neck too, like
In the
that
neck.
could go
Right
off
in the throat.
any direction.
It went straight. Like it didn't deflect. It was like,
Gotcha. Oh, that's perfect.
and he was stepping into it, and it was a hard cross, you know.
It finished him. Yeah. After that, he was like,
He fell to the ground, and I was like, "Where'd he go?" And then I was like, "Oh, you're on the ground." And he's like, "Oh, I'm fucking done."
yeah, he's like, you got me in the throat. You got me in the throat. I was like, I didn't. It was dark and it happened so fast. I was like, oh shit.
Well, here's the
punched
thing.
him in
And
the throat.
I'm sitting there.
you got punched in the throat. He got punched in the throat.
I'm sitting there being like, dude, I think I just won my first real fight. You know what I mean? Like, I think I just won my first legitimate fight. But Gavin and Nick and Alberto were all just like, I equate it to like they saw things escalate and it turned into a real fight. And what is it? Emily, his girlfriend, is probably uncomfortable because she's watching her boyfriend in a real fight. So they're probably just like, oh, let's keep things light. And they're like trying to distract her with conversation. So no one's fucking watching like what even happened.
I was watching. I was like, oh shit, in the throat, in the throat. Like I was like, fuck yeah.
Anyways, but then afterwards he showed me. I also cut him on the lip a little bit. But he was cool the whole rest of the night. I was just like, yeah.
Funny how that happens.
Yeah,
You
he
beat
was-
someone in a fight, and they're just like, "Oh man, yeah, this is good. We're good. We're good." You
He
know?
was cool the whole rest
Yeah.
of the night, but then later, like the next day, the next week, we start finding out. He starts texting Gavin all these like crazy death threats, like I'm gonna come at you with the bat,
Yeah.
I'm gonna fucking kill you, all this shit, and we're just like, huh? And then they're like, and we're like trying to piece this together with our friends. We're like, I think he thought he was fighting Gavin, and Gavin beat him.
Yeah, it was just like
and he
eating.
hates Gavin because
Yeah.
Gavin hooked up with this girl, and so he starts doing it for like
great.
weeks and weeks, months and months. We graduate from high school, we go all the way to college, we come back, we're at a high school party like a couple months after we've been away,
no.
and people being like, "Oh wait, you're Gavin? Steven hates you. He wants to kill you." You know, like we're
Still.
talking like a year later,
Yeah.
people are like, "Steven wants to kill you."
Wow.
Yeah, it's just like really eating away at him that he lost that fight, and that to me, but I didn't win. Garrett,
Nice.
Garrett won.
Yeah, Gavin, you won this time. You're
Yeah.
like, wait, I guess.
I think-
that's
I
cool.
think-
You got a W on your record though, because
Yeah, got me a W. No, I remember.
Nah, he dealt with all the consequences of some guy. who
Yeah,
hit her.
right.
I was just like,
That
So
was-
in the end,
that was a hard
does
one. though.
anybody really win?
Yeah,
It was a big
no
deal.
one wins, but
I won.
yeah, Garrett won.
I
Yeah,
didn't have to
Garrett.
deal with any of the consequences.
Garrett won. Yeah,